And then the Mula Uddiyana Bandha. Uddiyana is upward moving. So there's an upward moving of the belly above the navel in towards the body. So we're sort of drawing that in. And we can feel that when we do poses like downward facing dog, it activates itself almost automatically in that pose. So certain poses that bring the bandhas into play. And at other times we've got to be a bit more deliberate and conscious with them. Okay. And the bandhas are they're interesting to work with, right? In relation to that, we've got the diaphragmatic breath that we continue to work with as well. So tonight, when we're going to focus on the diaphragmatic breath throughout the practice as well. Okay. So why don't we just so I'll repeat some of this when we come to practicing, but we'll start off by sitting in Sukhasana or Virasana. Either of those two seated poses. It'd be really good if this evening you have a block with you or a blanket, something to put under the knees at some stage when it comes to doing the, because we're going to work on twists, and at some point we're going to work on twists from lunge pose position. Please, I really like people to protect the knees a bit when they do these poses. Okay. But to start with, we're just going to sit for a couple of minutes. We'll do a little bit of centering around what we're about to do. We've got the mind and body in the same place, hopefully. Always good to have those two things together. And just closing the eyes and letting attention fall down into the body. So awareness dropping down into the body just as the weight of the body drops down onto the floor. And get a sense of the root of the body. Whatever part of the body is in contact with the ground is the root of the body. The shins or the two sitting bones are on the tips of the iliums. Grounding and rooting, spine lengthening gently upwards, growing the spine towards the sky. And just gently moving the shoulders back slightly towards the spine. So letting go of, as much as we can, of the preoccupations of the day, using the body as a way of tethering the mind. So our mind needs a bit of tethering sometimes. So bringing it to a point of awareness in the body. And just use the breath for the course of the next 10 breaths. We're going to work diaphragmatically. So breathing in, breathing through the belly, down into the bowl of the pelvis, exhaling. So an expansion of the kidneys, an expansion of the lower part of the sides of the body, laterally, and the belly. Breathing in and breathing out through the nose, full attention to the breath. Full attention to the sensations of the breath in the body. And you can play with alternating throughout the practice this evening between classical diaphragmatic breathing, where you extend the belly outwards, And what we talk about is the mula bandha in breath, which is where you maintain tonicity in the belly, the wall of the belly, and you breathe in. Okay. So there are two different styles of breathing, but you can combine and play with them a bit, depending upon the posture. So keeping the wall of the belly toned, you inhale, you notice the ribs flare out to the sides more. Okay. This lends itself to a lengthening of the lumbar spine, ligaments of the lumbar spine through the diaphragm. Okay, you can start off by lying down on the back, coming into supine position. Feet on the floor, feet beneath the knees. I'm going to do a short sequence on the floor before we carry on with the other stuff tonight. So first of all, lying down, just pick up your pelvis. Once you're lying down, pick up your pelvis and then extend your spine downwards towards the coccyx and rest the pelvis back on the floor again. So you're sort of just lightly lengthening out the spine on the floor. Okay. Let's say that again. So feet down, just pick up your pelvis and draw the spine down slightly and then roll the pelvis down again. Okay. And then you're going to bring the right knee into the body, take the hands around the front of the right knee, interlocking the fingers and gently squeeze the knees in toward the knee, singular, knee in towards the body. Yeah. And then away from the body on the in-breath. So in-breath, move the knee out, exhale, move the knee back in. Very light, simple movement. We'll do this 5 times. So in these light movements, we don't tend to activate the bandhas very much. They come into play when we start doing the more kind of classical seated, standing, kneeling poses. Just keep the breath smooth, relaxed, and steady at the moment, using the diaphragm. Attention to detail of the movement. Change to the other side. Place that foot down. Interlock the fingers around the other knee. One smooth movement in and out with the breath. Grounding the pelvis, making sure we're not lifting the pelvis. Keeping the lumbar arch flattened out on the ground for the moment. Just mindful of that simple movement and the sensations in it. Very good. And then bring both hands onto both knees and then move straight into Apanasana 8 times. So both knees together, in, exhaling, inhaling, extending knees away, exhaling. Okay. So once we've done this 8 times, just going to place the arms inside the thighs and just broaden the thighs apart, widen the thighs apart. The arms inside, just pressing down through the knees a little bit, or the hands inside the knees. Just opening the pelvis. You gently, not too firmly, gently pressing the knees down to the floor to open the groins. Okay.
And from here, you're going to lift up the feet and take hold of the shins or take hold of the big toes. So coming to the so-called baby pose. Okay, remembering to lengthen out the spine again, ground the pelvis. And we're going to widen the feet and the legs. So take the space as big as you can between, with the knees bent, between the feet. And then gently draw the knees back in towards the sides of the body, first of all. So you're really flattening out the spine on the ground. Noticing the breath, how it interacts with the abdomen area and the pelvic area. And then we're going to extend both legs to the vertical. Well, to the vertical, and then we're going to take them wider still if we can. So we're really maximizing the opening between the thighs now, through the groins. Okay, so this is both an internal stretch for the groins as well as a lengthening through the legs to the heels and lengthening the spine. So you'll feel that the spine sort of projects along itself axially all the way through to the crown of the head. Okay, closing the space between the legs. If you bend the knees and bring the feet down on the floor again. And then lengthen out your left leg on the floor. So extend out the left leg on the floor and bring up your right leg and take, so with the left hand, take the big right toe. So left hand, big right toe, okay. Then we're going to shift the body, or rather the pelvis, towards the left side. So right leg goes towards the left side. Right leg is horizontal, to the perpendicular to the body, grounding the shoulders as much as you can. You're going to bring that leg out and down towards the floor, okay. If getting to the floor feels too far away, you can put something under the foot if you want, like a block or a blanket. Otherwise, grounding the shoulder, see if you can bring yourself into a full rotation towards the floor. Yeah? So really making an effort here to keep the shoulders broad and grounded, rooted. The lower leg is extending. So we're activating the bandhas here a bit now. Okay, we've got this, although we're not touching the floor, we can still activate the bandhas by broadening the hands and extending and broadening the feet. And this will feed back into Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. And we keep the breath moving through the pose, not locking the breath. Okay, and then now bend your knee to come back to the center. Okay. Going to place your opposite foot now on the floor for a minute. Right leg extends out on the ground. Catch the big toe. So this is the left big toe with the right hand. Okay, left arm coming out to the side at the height of the shoulder. And if you can lengthen the leg, well and good, okay? But if you have to lift up your head and everything else in order to do that, keep the knee bent, it's better. And then we're going to rotate one smooth movement all the way out to the right side, left leg to the right side, grounding the shoulders. Yeah. So it's a bit of an effort to keep the shoulders grounded because they'll want to lift off the floor, especially the left shoulder. So just drawing your weight down through the shoulder blades. Then see if you can engage the bandhas lightly through the hands and the feet. Remember, so you're sort of engaging the periphery of the hands and the periphery of the feet, sucking up through the center, through the soles and through the palm of the hand. Okay, Then bending the knee slightly to bring yourself back into a center position. Hands out to the side at the height of the shoulders. Have your feet on the floor. Bringing the feet together and the knees together. We're going to shift the pelvis just over towards the left side a little bit so that we align the pelvis with the shoulder. Okay, and the knees perpendicular to the trunk. Rolling the knees, both of them together to the right side. Right hand on the outside of the left leg if you want. Okay. One smooth movement into a simple reclining twist. And grounding through the shoulders again. Just really feeling your weight going down through the head, neck and shoulders, almost a release in the upper body. Movement is a rotation of the thoracic region, even though the pelvis is doing the moving. Five more breaths. And then on the next in-breath, moving smoothly back to the center, shifting your pelvis to the right side, and then coming straight into the left side twist. Same emphasis before on dropping the shoulders down, grounding the arm. And the pelvis rotates towards the left side here. Okay. We've got full grounding of the shoulder column, appendicular skeleton, through the upper body, axial extension, through the spine. Okay, and then back again to the center. I'm going to roll over to the right side completely, and then come up onto all fours from there. So taking the space between the feet and knees and making that the same. Hands planted on the floor, broaden through the hands. So here we can activate, play around a bit with the bandhas again. So if you think about rooting down through the outer periphery of the hands and the palm sucking up. Yeah. So the image in the mind is one of sort of a vortex cyclone. So the energy draws up through a cyclone from the ground all the way up. So the same here with your bandhas. You're drawing the energy from the periphery towards the center, all the way up. And if you do that, you sometimes get a feel in this position of the belly drawing in. So you find if you activate the hands, that the belly wants to follow through. So that's the connection between Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha and the peripheral bandhas. Yeah. You get that sense? It's like it's all connected up some level. Very weird. Anyway, it does work. Now extend your left leg back and your right arm forwards. We're going to do this dynamically. Okay, reaching forwards, reaching back. Exhale, coming down. Opposite side, right leg, left arm. Lifting higher than the trunk, higher than the pelvis. Keep that sense of engagement through the bandhas. Just mindful of the movement. Simple movements at this stage. Reaching out, and then next time you reach out, you're going to hold for 5 breaths.
Awareness through the whole body. Release down, change to the other side. 5 breaths holding the other side. Good. So you get a sense of moving from the periphery in towards the center through the bandhas. And down. Okay, just taking a pause there for a moment on all fours. So we're going to mobilize the pelvis and the spine here before we go into the next thing. So pressing down through the hands lightly, lifting up through the spine. Head comes down, exhaling. Inhaling, reversing the shape of the spine. And do extension, looking up, looking forwards. Exhale, sucking the belly in. So you're encouraging Uddiyana Bandha on the exhale here. So you're drawing the belly in, releasing on the in-breath. Yeah, so as you exhale, just above the navel, drawing the belly in, picking the spine up. Inhale. Not good to do that on a full stomach. Okay? Smooth, continuous movement through the spine. Okay, you're going to bring our right arm underneath us, extending that out to the left side, coming into quarter dog from here. Okay, so left hand, left arm supports your weight as you come down, grounding the hand, head resting on the ground, keeping the pelvis centered, knees beneath the pelvis. And this posture can be quite intense on the spine coming into it. You can feel so all the limitations of the rotation of the spinal column because you're really stabilizing the pelvis. Right? So you can't really do anything other than twist the spine here. But it sort of puts you in touch with where the limitations are. Right, yeah. And breathe. So bringing diaphragmatic breath into play here. So feeling the resistance of the diaphragm. Okay. Pressing down through the supporting hand, sliding out the opposite hand. And then change to the other side. One smooth movement. Left arm to the right side. You're turning your heart center gently towards the right side. Keeping broad across the front of the shoulders. Good practice. Okay, releasing. Left arm sliding back to its position. Hands down on the ground in front of the shoulders. Tuck your toes under and smoothly transition into downward facing dog. Keeping the neck long. Head just between the upper arms. Grounding through the rim of the hand. So I've been mentioning. And think about the rim or the outer edges of the feet. Grounding. Lifting through the center of the hands. Lifting through the center of the feet. So that lifting is a rebound effect.
It's not a lifting so much as a drawing in, drawing up. And then see what effect that has through Uddiyana Bandha when you engage the hands and the feet in this position. This is a classic pose to explore Uddiyana Bandha in motion, as it were. Okay, shifting your weight forwards, coming onto the knees. Going to pick up and step your right foot forwards. So keep a fairly long space. This is where you need to have something under the back of the knee, the back knee. Okay, once you've arranged your space, you're going to lower the pelvis down. So we're really going to open up the groins here on both sides. So dropping the weight of the pelvis down, sort of finding our maximum edge, and then just stepping back a little bit from that. So don't collapse down into the joints. Keep a little bit of a sense of suboptimal positioning. Right, a wide space. And then you're going to sweep the arms up on the in-breath. Bring the hands together. Cross the thumbs over at the roots of the thumbs, and then look up to the sky and extend up gently through the breath. Okay. So the weight of the pelvis is drawing down. Think about using the front foot and the bandha to press away from the floor lightly. That's good. Growing up through the spine, even though we're curving back into extension of the spine, we're still lengthening. And then bring the hands down to the heart center. We're going to bring the left elbow now and hook that over the right knee. And just re-clarify the length in your spine again. So before we start moving into the twist, just make sure we haven't introduced too much of a kyphosis in the upper spine here. So keep the spine long, chest open, and bring the palms of the hands together. Okay. Now you can work with lowering your pelvis down or moving it back slightly. It's up to you. That's what you need to do to be comfortable. And then just work with gently drawing the thumbs towards the heart center. Okay, and look for a sense of broadening through the shoulders, even as though as you're lengthening the spine, turning to the right side, you're also broadening through the shoulders. So a nice wide space between one shoulder and the other. So you want the posture to be long, not condensed, long extended through the spine. The neck and the face very light. Okay, looking to the floor. Lift the elbow off and take the hands down to the floor. Going to come back again to downward facing dog. Just as a transition, okay, stepping the left foot forwards. Again, wide stance. Grounding the front foot, lifting the trunk, and then inhaling, sweeping the arms above you. Okay, crossing over the thumbs at the root, looking to the sky. So chin forwards, lifting the chin, looking towards the sky. Same time, some awareness in the legs, especially the front foot. Grounding gently to the floor. Keep the arches lifting through the foot. Reaching up, lowering the pelvis down, okay. Next exhale, bringing in the right elbow over the left knee, okay. Long spine, really important to emphasize, long spine. Palms together, thumb moving towards the heart center.
Wonderful. Looks really good on camera. Please, we're recording this one. Okay, lift out, look down, take your hands down to the floor. Ground down through the periphery of the hands. Step back and lift the pelvis. We're going to play again with engaging the bandhas through the hands and the feet first of all. Okay, so spreading the hands actively, rooting down the periphery. Imagine this sense of the cyclone drawing up through the ground, through the limbs towards the pelvis, through the trunk. See if we can engage the Mula Bandha through the pelvic floor gently. And Uddiyana Bandha almost just does itself. Hardly any need to focus on it. Okay, shifting the weight forwards, bring the knees down on the floor. You will need a block under your left knee. Okay, right foot comes forwards. So right foot forward, left knee back. Go back a bit. It's missing. Okay. I'm going to keep a fairly high in the sense of not dropping the pelvis down in low lunge here. So lift up your back foot and take your right hand and catch the left foot. Okay, you can do that without getting cramp. If you need to, you can lean forwards, catch hold of it, come back up again. Obviously, don't find it easy to do that. Okay, and you want to have the back heel aligned so that it's sitting behind the hamstring muscle. Okay, so the left heel sits behind the left hamstring in a line. And then you're going to take the hand, left hand on the right knee, and begin to rotate towards the right side. Okay. So we can smoothly lower the pelvis down, smoothly press the hand into the foot. Okay, and then we can work with this thing through the bandhas, lengthening the spine and broadening through the fronts of the shoulders as we twist. Let's see if we can get these things working together. So extending activity of the bandhas, drawing up, breath, focusing awareness on the body. Okay, so we can smoothly come out, let go of the back leg. A bit tricky. I'm just going to transition to the other side without doing any vinyasas here. So take the block under the opposite knee. Step your left foot forwards. Okay. Are you okay with this? So it's quite an intense pose to get in and out of, but once you're in it, it's an interesting dynamic. Then, so we're going to bring the left hand to the right foot, catching the underside of the foot. Okay, just checking again that you've got the right heel sitting behind the hamstring or the buttock of the right side. Right hand onto the outside of the left knee, then on the rotation, focusing on the bandhas to lift through the spine. So engaging, opening, lengthening. Look for stability through the breath, through the contact with the floor. And if you feel that you're overarching the lumbar, okay, bring the kidneys out, tuck the tailbone down slightly. Just make that little adjustment so that we're not overarching the lumbar here. Very good. Releasing your back foot, taking the hands down. So I'm going to move the block out the way now for a minute. Once again, coming into pushing up into downward facing dog. Looking forwards, you're going to step your right foot forwards. Okay, so we create a long base between the feet. Got tram lines, 1 foot on each tram line. We're going to come into the similar work that we've just done, but from a high lunge position this time. So from here, grounding down through the front foot, extending the back leg. So you really activate the base of the pose. And then inhale, raise up the left arm. 1 in breath on the out breath, rotating and hooking the elbow over again. Over the knee, join the palms together. Same action, bringing the thumbs towards the heart center. Really look for a sense of steadiness in the pose, presence of awareness, but also the breath, not locking the breath in the body. Yeah. Okay, releasing the back knee down smoothly, unhook, and take the hands down on the floor, back to downward facing dog. Okay, looking forward, stepping forwards with the opposite leg. Okay, tram lines again. Pelvis facing towards the short edge of the mat. Okay, from here, grounding the front leg, inhale, right arm raises up. So this just re-clarifies the length in the spine. Exhale, rotate and hook over, keeping the spine long. Join the palms, bring the thumb towards the heart. Okay, release down, back knee down, take the hands onto the floor again. Place your hands down, just for a moment, slide back into child pose, one of your favorite versions, doesn't matter which version. Hands forwards or arms back if you like. Just release for a moment, release the activity of the practice. Continuity of awareness. Okay, looking forwards, extend your hands forwards and then bring your toes under. Smooth transition into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, step your left foot forwards. Place your right hand down beneath the right shoulder on the floor. Okay, so it's a variation on the theme of what we've been doing already. Re-clarify the length in the spine. So activating through the bandhas of the feet, the hands, lengthen the spine, rotating towards the left side. And either reaching up or taking the hand onto the sacrum, keeping the hand on the knee, whichever version you want to practice, okay? Just seeing if you can find a way to refine the pose. So in order to be in the pose longer, what would you have to do? Okay, release your back knee down to the floor. Okay, looking to the floor, both hands down beneath the shoulders. Step back and transition again into downward facing dog. Then stepping the opposite foot forwards from high lunge position. Once again, left hand down on the floor, just beneath the shoulder. Okay. This pose usually invites quite a wide base. And then be conscious of the pelvis. So as we come into the twisting position, we know that we're working with the spine, but also we're working with the pelvis. We're allowing the pelvis to swivel here, like in Prasarita-Padottanasana, which we'll do in a moment, or reverse triangle. So the same action is swiveling. You can drop the left side of the pelvis down, which feeds into the movement of the twist here. Okay. So this is a twist that incorporates the pelvis. Keep bringing your back knee down smoothly, placing the hands onto the floor, stepping your front foot back. From here, we're going to do a transition from downward facing dog to Prasarita-Padottanasana. Okay. So coming up into the down dog, we'll step the right foot forwards and then turn to the long edge of the mat.
What? Oh, that's
Like that. Okay. Okay, wide stance. Looks like your mic has just unmuted itself, Rebecca. Somehow.
Beg your pardon.
Okay, so grounding the hands down on the floor beneath the shoulders, first of all. So a classical version of Prasarita-Padottanasana, widening through the pelvis. Now just shift the pelvis lightly from the left side to the right side. Yeah. So lightly from the left side to the right side, you get this sense of swiveling, the swiveling action of the pelvis over the tops of the femur heads. This is what we mean by swiveling. Okay? It's not exactly a twist, but it comes into the twist. And it'll come into the twist here again as well now. Okay. So placing your right hand down beneath the chest. On the next in breath, extend the left arm out to the side and rotate the trunk, pelvis. Exhaling, lower the hand down. Inhale, extend the opposite arm out to the side. We'll do this dynamically. Okay. Broad through the chest. All the same principles are there as for the other twists. Yeah. Okay, Jimula Bandha. Hasta Bandha. Pada Bandha. And see if you can broaden still more through the chest, opening the chest more.
Very good. Okay, place the hands down, back again onto the floor beneath the shoulders. We're going to come into the sort of classical version of the forward bend from here. Just re-clarify this sense of broadening through the back of the pelvis by grounding the feet firmly down. Okay, and then from there, walking the head, hands back and the head down towards the floor. So we lengthen, keeping the chest open and broad, keeping the feet really active. So the feet here firmly engaging through Pada Bandha, lifting the pelvis and rotating. Okay, walking the hands forwards, lengthen the spine, bend your knees slightly and come up to standing. From standing, we're going to bring the left foot out. The left foot turning to the long edge, short edge of the mat. Sorry, adjust my camera slightly. Losing myself there. Okay. So we've got the left foot out, we've got the pelvis facing the long edge of the mat, preparing for side angle pose. Okay. So reaching up through the left arm, grounding down through the feet. So, and these last few poses in standing are good to explore the bandhas again. Okay, then we're going to tilt the trunk over towards the left side, forearm resting on the thigh, grounding down through the feet. So you can ground the outer edges of the foot, draw up through the center, and the hands as well. Even though the hands are not resting on the floor, still activating the bandhas here by keeping the hands expanding. Bringing the right arm up and over to angle pose. You're creating a straight line or a spiral from the fingertips through the side of the body, all the way through to the heel and the outside edge of the back foot. Okay, inhaling, coming up smoothly, pressing down through the front foot, one movement. Arms extending out to the side for a moment. Walk your back foot in, we're going to step forwards. And we're going to change the leg position so that the other foot goes back. Just do the transitions this way today because that way I can keep looking at the camera, looking at the screen. Okay, bending the front knee smoothly, raising up the right arm smoothly to lengthen the sides of the ribs. Exhale, reach out and forearm resting on the thigh. And so as you think about lengthening here and grounding down through the hands, the feet, sorry, using the hands, we're going to rotate the trunk. So there is a twist involved in the action of the pose here. Okay, it's just not so obvious as in other poses. So keeping the pelvis tucked in here, think about a line of the coccyx pointing down towards the back heel, and then sweep the arm up and over as you like. Yeah, so we're bringing the full angle into angle pose. Okay, pressing down through your front foot, sweep up and back,
Bring your back foot forwards, stepping forwards. Okay, from here, one smooth transition from standing. We'll take one vinyasa. So inhale, raising the arms up above us. Exhale, folding forwards. Sorry that I disappeared from the camera there. Hands down, stepping your feet back. We'll do a full sun salutation from here. Chest down, Bhujangasana. Back to downward facing dog. One last time in downward facing dog for this session. Okay, we're going to slide our left knee forwards and bring our right knee behind the left. And then we're going to sit back onto the pelvis. So it's as if we were going into Gomukhasana, but we're not going into Gomukhasana. So you're going to sit back on the pelvis and then lift up the right knee. And we come into Marichyasana. So we're setting up the base for Marichyasana. Try and get your pelvis square on the floor as much as you can. So both sides of the iliums, both hip bones down on the ground as much as possible. Just re-clarify the length in your spine there a little bit. Okay, so there's a sense with these poses now that we're sort of gathering everything up towards the center, bringing all the periphery and all the energy into the center, into the midline of the body, and then we get this axial extension. Okay, so you're sort of gathering in all the time, gathering up. You're going to bring your your right arm around your left knee, however you want to do that. Okay, you can bind, if you're used to binding, you can bind. If not, taking the left hand down onto the floor behind you. So think of this gathering up to the center, dropping down through the pelvis, and then explore lengthening the spine. Growing the spine, perhaps is a better word, growing the spine upwards. Each in breath. Okay, turning to the front. All right. I'm going to change the leg position, but we'll do it just from sitting. Seeing if we can place the pelvis down as much as possible on the floor, so it's square as possible. Yeah, just re-clarify once again the length in the spine, growing the spine, and then from there come into your twisting position. So letting the spine do the twisting initially, let the spine do the twisting, and then the arms are just an aid in the process rather than everything coming from the torque of the arms. And so the arms just help us to refine the twist. Yeah, releasing and looking forward. So we're going to straighten the legs out in front of us for a moment. Into Dandasana. And bring the left foot up and over the thigh, right thigh. So similar, but different dynamic to the pose. A version of Marityasana. Okay, lifting the belly up and out, away. Then we're going to rotate to the left side again, hooking around the neck. So explore that. Is it different? Much different? Subtly different? A bit more room for the pelvis to ground itself down evenly. All right, release, change to the other side, one smooth movement. Okay, rotating back to the center. I'd like you to, if you can come into Sukhasana, have your right leg in front of your left leg. Sukhasana, easy pose, so the knees wide out, feet, shins if possible down on the floor. If you need a prop, then use a block or a blanket underneath the back of the pelvis. You can do that. Need a bit more height, it's fine. Okay. So just before we go into meditation, I'm just going to do one last thing. I'm just going to float the arms out and up, keeping the arms very light in the shoulder joints, very, very soft. Inhaling and exhaling, turning to the left side, placing the fingertips down onto the floor. Inhaling. As you raise the arms, you're already rotating to the other side, and you float the hands down again. So it's like the hands float down, just touch the ground, and inhale, you float them up again. Very, very soft in the shoulder joints. Exhaling, looking to the other side, just touching the ground. Inhaling, floating up. It's almost like they're bouncing off the floor in space. So very gentle touching. And it's the spine that's doing the work of rotating here. Okay, now just come into the center now and make yourself comfortable for the next 10 minutes or so. If you've got the time after the session to do Shavasana, please do a bit of Shavasana, okay? If you can fit that in. We don't do that in this session, but I assume that you're going to do some of that afterwards. Just going to tone my light down. It's burning the skin. Okay, so just take your time to really adjust your posture as best as possible for meditation, where you can really let go just the lower part of the body. Our pelvis neither rolling too far back nor too far forwards. We're not exaggerating, and we're not overly de-exaggerating the lumbar curve. Hands resting in such a way that allows the shoulders to be completely rested. So the trapezius are lengthened away from the neck. And the neck is very, very light. The neck is floating on top of the rest of the spine. And the head is floating on top of the neck. Becoming aware of the whole body, and particularly becoming aware of the surface of the body in terms of the skin, contact with your clothing, temperature, anything that comes into your awareness. And we'll start off just by in the head, so the head and the face, in terms of temperature rather than clothing. And then shifting down the neck, shoulders, down through the arms to the hands, just the skin, surface sensations, surface awareness. In the front of the body, over the heart, the abdominal region. The back of the body, shoulder blades, kidney area, pelvis. And down through the legs, upper legs to the knees, knees to the ankles, to the feet. Now gently point your awareness, not in a demanding way, just gently point your awareness towards the most obvious pleasant sensations that you experience in the body. And just dwell in that area. It may just be a general overall sensation. Just looking at the nature of pleasant sensation. And then bringing into your attention, maybe you don't have to go anywhere in terms of the body, to anything that seems unpleasant in the body. Maybe there isn't anything, maybe it's just very, very subtle. Bit of tension, slight ache. And extending your awareness now to your mind and your heart. So the sensations will normally give you an indication as to how that is. Noticing the heart area as a physical location and the sensations there. And noticing the mind. Does the mind feel relaxed? Does it feel tense? Is it busy? Is it quiet? And just try to do this without giving yourself a job to do. Just very gently directing. Heart and mind. Thoughts and emotions. And then we just let the quality of awareness or mindfulness build up. So just sitting in this space of awareness, aware of the body, you might decide to bring the breath into your attention and just follow the breath with or without counting. Or you might just want to sit very, very openly without focusing on anything in particular. Whatever you need to do, just to stay present for the next 5 minutes.